Good day to you, boys and girls, or boils and ghouls. Welcome to another episode of 7th Homunculus Productions Theater. I'm your host, Uncle Ben, and I'm your modeling friend. We're going to start today with some things we looked at the last time. Here is Scotty, and man is he heavy. He's like a nice resin kit now. Really feels like something. Now, a few things worth noting that I made the magnets in his boots irrelevant because he's so heavy. If he does start to fall over, he's going over. So we will still be drilling a hole here and putting a pin in him, just like we did, like I showed you with the arms, or with the hands. But man, he's heavy as he can be. I wish I would have got a weight on him when he was still just a vinyl model. Maybe I'll do it with one of the other ones. But just to see what he weighs now. Okay, he weighs a full 1 pound and 5 ounces. Almost 6 ounces. 1 pound, 5 ounces, and 8/10 of a ounce, looks like. So, much heavier than he was. Double check that just for a minute. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's quite accurate. So, man, did we ever bulk him up. Now, something else. Going back to the Helm and the modifications that we're going to do on the Helm, I had a thought on how to replicate just this. I've decided I'm going to save this piece. Like I said before, I'm not skilled enough to drill all those out and run fiber optics in there. It needs to be hollow for me to be able to pull all that great stuff off. And even then it's going to be a challenge. But this part is so much more accurate than the kit part. And what I've decided to try and do, we'll see how it goes. I mixed up a little bit of paint. I think this is Folk Arts wrought iron, actually. And I got a little roller here. I think you use this for ink. I'm not really sure what this is truly supposed to be used for, and yet there it was in my toolbox. Probably an impulse buy when I was at one of the art stores. I'm going to pick up a little of this paint, and the part I want to duplicate, just go ahead and, yeah, that's not sticking very good at all. It's really hoping for better than that. And just kind of push it down, see what happens here. Yeah, I might probably use that. Let's make a couple more copies just in case. This gives me something, a guideline, because this does look just perfect. This is from Don's Light Magic, by the way. A friend of mine sent it to me. And I will be using it in another build. What I'm going to do is also build a Enterprise, but I don't know what you'd call it, from Mirror. I'm going to build an anti-Enterprise, an anti-prize, if you will. So I'll use this piece for that. I'm going to get some more stuff from Don too. I'll give you a link to his really cool site in this video, or actually down below. Make sure we've got a couple. Now yeah, it doesn't matter if the middle doesn't turn out. My plan here is to put a clear piece of plastic over this and basically make a stencil, and then I'll make the actual, just that part, just that whatever oblong, what would that be? Not a parallelogram. Oh my god, I can't remember my high school math, geometry stuff. I didn't know it that well then. I sure as heck don't know it now. Whatever it is. It's a weird rectangle diamond thingy bob. Anyway, I'll lay a piece of sheet styrene on that and make a stencil, or maybe even just use sheet styrene to duplicate just that part, and we'll put it on this part of the helm in the front, and I'll even elongate it so it can hang over the floor like it's supposed to a little bit. So that'll be cool. I will be back as soon as I wash the paint off of this piece because it hasn't even been primed yet. Don't want that paint on there. And when I come back, we'll look at some more cool stuff. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, we're back. I'm going to see what we can do with this seam right here. We also have these seams to worry about. First line, I'm going to try some modeling paste. See how that works. I'm just going to, this is Liquitex Basics modeling paste. Give us a foundation anyway. I could also use Aves. I could also cut some Squadron white putty with lacquer thinner, make it nice and thin. That would work too. The modeling paste is a little newer to me, so that's why we're doing it. I want to see how that goes. And so here we go. It dries white, so we'll have to do some repainting. Geez. What the hell? You know, I'm already seeing that this isn't the best way to put this on. The shirt does look like it's going over the pants, and I want to keep that going because the shirt should be over the pants. Not crazy about this yet. Used it for some other applications that mattered less, and I was okay with it, but I'm not sure. But I'm loving this, but we'll see. See what happens when we wipe off the excess there. The thing about the modeling paste is it won't or at least it shouldn't give the vinyl a hard time like maybe the Squadron cut with lacquer thinner might have done. You won't see me do many things with a paintbrush on camera, only because I have a tendency to draw my work towards my chest. Got a few vision problems. That has a little to do with it, but I think even when I was younger, I had a tendency to pull my work towards me. It's just, I don't know, it's a habit. Maybe that's a little better. Just put it on like that and wipe off the excess. Hopefully, hey, if it doesn't, there's nothing happening here we can't fix, right? Let's have a look and hit that extra stuff. Yeah, not too bad. I'd have just been just as happy going around there with some Aves or something now, I'll be honest with you. Got a lot of touch-up painting to do now. Kind of expected that part of it. And honestly, we'll have to see how much that shrinks, but probably going to end up having to do it again over the top of what we've done. That's just kind of a base. I don't know if any of you all have ever done any drywalling, but it's kind of like when you're doing a patch and you put your your netting up. It's a, gosh, I can't remember what it's called. It's been so long since I've done that kind of stuff. Yeah, you put this patch up. It's almost like a netting, and then you go over it with some drywall mud. This is kind of like the patch, and we'll probably have to go over that one more time, maybe twice. Depends. I don't know how much it's going to shrink. Like I said, the product itself is somewhat new to me, but I've had a few fellas suggest trying it for the little stuff, and so we'll see. Also, a little something on Tiny Spock. Look at this. This is great. Giant Mr. Spock will destroy little Spock. No, I'm silly. That's coming along. And there's the head. It's still a little too yellow right now. What I did was, I read somewhere that the makeup for Mr. Spock was achieved by using sort of a green ochre and gold, but it must have been incredibly subtle because, frankly, I didn't even know they used that makeup on him until I read it, and still don't believe everything I read. But anyway, I don't have any green ochre, but I base coated it with some greenish yellow, and now I'm hitting it with some, what is this? It's actually called toasted vanilla, and then I'll do a light flesh eventually over the top of that. I really thin my paints out a lot. I use a lot of water, and so it takes several coats, but it doesn't obscure your detail. And boy, that's really important with this kit. With these figures, you don't want to obscure your detail because there's not much there to begin with. It's tiny, and I've seen tiny things with great detail. These are not them. And actually, I'm kind of glad, because although I wanted to go outside my comfort zone and do some miniature stuff, baby steps. So, we got this going on. There's the greenish yellow without the toasted, toasted vanilla. Yeah, on top of it. And so I'll tone it down with a little more of that and some light flesh I have. Like I said, I'd be happy to paint on camera, but the thing is I have a tendency to bring things in on me like this, which you can't see. So there's not much sense in filming it. So as things progress, I'll make sure, and over the next couple days, I'll make sure and record it. I really think we're going to do this again, but yeah, I can see we will, but only one more time it looks like. And the shirt looks like it's over the pants. We did a good job on that, squeezing it with the clamp and then putting it on. That definitely was the way to go on that. My friend Lawrence also recommended heating the vinyl up right before you glue it together, and sort of holding things where they go and doing it that way, and putting the super glue on. So we may try that on one of the figures coming up. That makes sense to me, although this did work. I'm pretty happy with it. As soon well, anyway, I'll be back. Just gotta get a few things together, and I got more cool stuff to show you, so stay tuned. Okay, here's a decision I made. This is, I think it's 3/16, something like that. I'll find out and let you know for sure. A foam board, and I think I'm going to use that to replicate this. I just painted that and stamped it out like we did earlier. Now, what I'm going to use for this, to get a nice straight, I can cut it straight laterally, but the depth cut, it's got to be straight. It's not going to look right. I'm going to use one of these. It's a foam cutter from Foamworks, Logan Company, and the way that works is you put this on your work. This fits in the rail there, so you get nice straight cuts. I don't know, I can't do that on my workbench. We've got something of a mess here anyway that desperately needs my attention. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try and set up the camera so that you can see me cut this, and if it doesn't work, it'll be edited out. I mean, it's not really difficult, but I would like to show you, but let's see if I can do that. I'll try, but if the next segment doesn't have that in it, that's why it didn't work. Okay, so hang on, let me get reset up.
Bo, we got it.
You got what?
We found a way to put Simonized car wax and Simonized car cleaner all in one push-button can.
And just how does it work, Professor Nitwit?
Come on, we'll show you.
Come on, we'll show you.
Come on,
Now look, it squirts on. You push the button. See? And then what? You spread it around and let it dry.
And it's really Simonized, is it?
Watch this.
Sure, it's Simonized. Look at that shine.
We'll be famous. We'll make a fortune. We'll call it Instant Simonized.
Instant Simonized, you lame brains. You can already buy Instant Simonized everywhere.
Instant Simonized? They thought of it too?
Simonized thinks of everything. Try Instant Simonized, another easy new way to brighten your day from Simonized Company.
Okay, I hope you can see at least some of this. Remember, we have this, and we're going to cut it up with our foam cutter. If you want to take, now I put this down, this pink foam, just so I didn't carve into the floor. You want to put a couple of pieces of cardboard or styrofoam the same thickness as this on either end, because if you don't, it'll wobble on you. There we go. Never done anything that's going to be this crucial that it be perfect. But being the shape that it is, if it isn't dead on, it's not going to look right. That's why I'm going to cut a few of them. Yeah, it'll be tough. Okay, here's one, and you see it's even elongated, so it can hang over. It probably won't hang over that much, but hey, we're on the right track. I like it. It's, I believe, 3/16 thick. I still haven't checked on that. We'll do so soon. That's Murphy barking, and if Murphy barks, then that means Ava's going to bark in a minute and join in, and then Mr. Big Backs is going to join in. Rescued a Mastiff. He is large. He wasn't, when we got him, he was a big dog, but very underweight. He'd been neglected. It was real. I won't go into it. It's a very sad story, and he lives with us now, and he's pretty happy. Gaining weight. A good dog too. Somebody didn't know what they had there. Yeah. Good dogs all the way around. Murphy's a lab and golden retriever mix. And Ava May is she's a strange mix. She's pit bull and greyhound. Kind of seems unusual to me. I don't know. I think she was a rescue dog too. She's a sweetheart. She loves me. She probably loves me more than the other dogs do. Although the other dogs love me, they're good, you know. But man, they love their mama more than anybody. When mama comes home, that's it. And I screwed that one up by cutting that one off. Well, it's alright. It's got a few of them. Sure, we're going to be okay. That one's kind of crappy. Hope this isn't too boring. I'll probably do a time lapse for you because I still don't think you can really see this. But you get the gist of it. And sometimes that's all. That's some products to make it nice and hard, like plastic. But I'll show you later. As we're working on this. Boy, that's something else there. I don't know if I can salvage that or not. I'll try. I keep a lot of the scrap pieces of foam just for stuff like this. You never know when you're going to need a small replacement part. This is being an absolute booger bear. I have absolutely no idea why in the world that it's sitting right. See what happens. Ninth part. Oh my gosh, it wobbled again. Oh well, you know what? We got a couple of them anyway. We got this one. We got this one. They both have enough overhang. I'm pretty happy. This is going to work for us. Okay. Let's see if you can see that. I'm going to take a look at the footage, and like I said, I'll probably edit it down. You don't need to see every cut, but it's pretty handy. I think the reason I was having a wobbling problem is this foam doesn't have the paper taken off of it, or it has the paper taken off of it, and the one I was using to cut the pieces out still has the paper on it. Didn't think about that. Okay, let's see how it looks. Alright, we're back at the table, my messy table, through the magic of Stickovision. And this is the one that I cut out that I like the best. Comparing it to this part, pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. And it's going to have enough overlap to do what I wanted to do there, so let it kind of hang over the edge. We'll cut this off at some point, but we don't just want to glue that on there like that, do we? So what I'm going to do, a process for toughening up styrofoam, and that is this stuff. Oh, I probably should have showed you first. Mixed it up pretty good, but I want to give it a couple more shakes. Magic Coat. It's for coating styrofoam. It's not the only thing we use, but it's a wonderful base. This will make it so you can actually sand your styrofoam if that's what you want to do. And you might have to, because sometimes it doesn't go on smooth. Sometimes gunk around the lid falls down in there and then gets in it and gives you grief. You end up having to sand off little bits, but by and large, good product. Helps a lot. Keeps me from having to cast this in rubber and then use resin, and I mean, that stuff's great, and on some stuff there is no replacement for doing those very steps, but for nits and bits, I'm not going to all that trouble. I might if I was making it for somebody else, but this is going in my collection, so one coat is not enough, but you gotta let it dry. Now, you don't have to let it dry as long as it says. It says 2 to 3 hours, but really in an hour we can flip it, do the other side. Now we're probably going to do about 3 or 4 thin coats, and then we're going to go over that with some Mod Podge, the matte Mod Podge, and that's going to toughen it up even more. We're going to do a little light sanding and maybe hit it with one more coat of Mod Podge, and then paint it up. So that's where we're at on that. Scotty. Big Scotty. Remember Big Scotty, right? Well, I went ahead and took the liberty of, because you saw me put the first batch in, the first, I don't want to say that, the first layer in. I'm done. I did this a little bit more off camera, just because you already knew how to do it, because I showed you. So it's really, right now I'm really happy. Let's see how happy I am in 5 years. We're going to sand this lightly with a very, very fine sandpaper. Oh, and I also put some of that modeling paste in here. Now I'm going to do the top layer of it to where I even it out. So try to get rid of these seams with epoxy putty, probably Aves or whatever I have on the table today. I don't know. I guess I got 2 kinds. I got Aves and I got Magic Sculpt. One or the other. And we'll fill that in. Sand it. And paint it. Paint everything. Do all our touch-up paint. Get some black around this collar. And we'll be well on our way. What I'm going to do is... These are both black. What I'm going to do is use a little gloss on here. Maybe satin and maybe not gloss. I haven't, I'll probably try satin first and see if that's enough. That'll just differentiate a little bit between there, and the boots would be shinier than the pants, I would hope. Yeah, the whole thing, before I do all that, the whole thing's going to get a shot of good old Model Master 1960 flat lacquer. That stuff is the flattest flat I found in a spray can, and it's great for skin and shirts and pants and stuff like that. I'll do some of this puttying on camera in a little bit, just so you kind of get the idea for those guys that are newbies or just interested in seeing somebody else do it. That's fine. I'll do that, and at least some of it, so that you do have the general idea. And I don't know, I'm thinking in a week or 2 we'll have him done. I say a week or 2 because I don't play every day, I just don't. I'm not able to. I wish I could. I don't know if I showed you Tiny Spock or not, but he's coming along good too. I can't remember if I showed you, since I painted him. I even put the little bands around these arms. Let's see, again, I keep meaning to bring a quarter down here to show you guys give you some reference to the scale. I'm trying to think if there's anything laying here that might, not really, nothing. I mean, it would work for me, anything here would work for me as scale, but not for somebody new, so yeah, we'll get to it later. I'll write it down. The things we got to get to later is to bring a quarter down here and show you scale on this and find out exactly how thick that foam board was I used to cut out our piece for the helm. So I'll be back shortly with that stuff. Alright, let's get some putty on the seams of these arms. Show you what I'm using here. I also have some Abe's safety solvent. That kind of helps in the smoothing process quite a bit. But something else I found, if you don't have that on hand, in a pinch, denatured alcohol works pretty good too. I wouldn't say it replaces safety solvent, but like I said, if you're out, you're in a pinch, you can sure use it, and I've done it several times. With Magic Sculpt, water and spit too do just fine, actually. Okay, I'm just going to mix this putty up real quick. Going to get something of a mess here because when I put that safety solvent on this and start rubbing around on that, we're going to get red on us. You just want to make this look as natural as you can. Sometimes when the seams aren't real bad, it just looks like a seam in the shirt like that, but these seams are kind of obtrusive. They are. It's a vinyl kit. It's not perfection. Well, hell, any kit, just about. You got to putty the arms. I have, unless they're all molded on already. We may have to do this a couple times too, because I tend to go light and build up. I just do. I don't know. Can always add to it. You can always take away too with sandpaper, but if I'm going to do extra work, I'd rather do it at the forefront. I don't even know if I'm in frame or not. I hope so, but anyway, you see what I'm doing. Really kind of have to pack it in there. That's a bad seam there, man. That's bad news. No, it's fine. Now, I got big fingers. I can't get everywhere, so I'm going to show you what I do and what I use. Okay, you missed a few things because my memory got full. Ironic. Anyway, finished doing the putty around this arm, at least this round of it. What you missed was I used this Q-tip. It's a pointy Q-tip, and you can get pointy swabs on eBay. And I used that to get down like underneath his armpit there and feather that, fill those gaps and feather that out. So now that you have a general idea on how to do that, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go ahead and get this other one done, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, another little trick I'm going to show you is one I mentioned earlier, and that's mixing lacquer thinner and squadron putty to make a kind of a filler that's a little more liquid, seeps down in the cracks a little better. I don't know. I don't know if I would recommend this for vinyl. I can see where a lot of stuff could go wrong there. But for styrene plastic, you're fine. Now what I do is get one of these bulbs, stick it down in a can, and I've got my, I've got this stuff. I already put a little bit of putty in there. Just squirt that on top of it. And what you want this to do is have a consistency of a, well, really a paint. Maybe a little thicker than paint. You can play with it and find your own ratio what works. It will eventually dissolve it. You got to stay on it. It seems a little thin. Also, use a brush you really don't give a crap about. These I get about, I don't know, a big package of them at Walmart for $1. Don't use your nice brushes to do this procedure. I mean, you don't have to use one this cheap, but use one that's, well, now what I do with my putty. Use one that you don't care about anymore, like just an old brush, you know, you're better off. Well, I don't know where I put my squadron. What the heck? How'd I lose it that quick? Oh, there it is. I was looking for the red packaging and it was turned upside down and it was white and it was blending in over on the side there. And a little bit more. I've had this tube of squadron for a minute. It lasts a while. Lasts me a while. This is usually the only time I use squadron is when I'm doing something like this where I'm cutting it with lacquer thinner and sort of. This is good for filling pinholes in resin kits. If you put it on kind of thick and then really brush it out, feather it out, you won't even have to sand. But it's not necessary. I could use regular putty, epoxy putty for what I'm about to do, but I wanted to show you this. Hopefully you can see that consistency there. I would put one of my headlights on, but that just seems to wash everything out. Can't see anything. Alright. Now this is too much brush for this little miniature. I'm just wanting to clean up the seams where his arms go in. But this is way too much brush, and this, like, blow it away. I'll buy another package of them next time I go to Walmart. I still got probably 100 of them. I'm going to find one of my old brushes that aren't doing too well. Yeah, it's a nice frayed out old brush. Right there. And then just take it and that liquid, fill those gaps. Now this, the way we're using it, in this situation, we're going to have to sand it a little. It's alright though. I was expecting that. And this stuff dries really fast too. I mean, I usually wait a couple hours, but it's not like epoxy putty where you gotta wait overnight. You really don't. With this concoction. I don't know why that is, but now I'm putting it on kind of gloppy. I would probably be taking my time a little bit more if I wasn't filming, but that's alright. Nothing there that can't be sanded and made right. I just want to make sure those cracks get filled. Could have used a little smaller brush too. I got a few thinner brushes that are bad shape. The reason I just put the paint on there It's just some watered down, really watered down paint. I just wanted to see how bad those seams were, and it was tough to tell with just the, nah, I boogered it up. It's tough to tell with just the primer there. But once I got a little bit of a wash on there, I could see how desperately this needed to be done. Probably won't throw this brush away. I'll just clean it up in some brush cleaner or lacquer thinner. That's really piled on there, but that's okay. It sands really easy. Okay, that's it for this segment, and we'll be back shortly. Hey, I took a look at the file sizes and the durations on the clips for this video, so I think we're going to close it down. We'll be back in the next episode, which will be episode 5. We'll continue to do work on Sulu here. It looks like some of the seam is still showing. I haven't sanded it yet. I'll do that in the next video. Mr. Spock's looking fine. Started Sulu's head, and like again, I'm going to do some shading. This is really hard. I'm trying to figure out a way I'm going to do the whites of his eyes. I don't have a brush that small. Don't know what I'm going to do. Mr. Spock definitely in need of attention, but we'll get to him. So that's going to be it for this. I'll probably post a few pictures of these so you can get a look at how they're coming along and see them a little better. And we'll be back in our next video, episode 5. Hey, I'm looking for a tagline to put at the end of my videos. Wally, who's over at Starfleet Modelers Academy, he ends all his videos by yelling, "Build something!" And so I want a tagline too, but I don't want to copy Wally's. So any suggestions, let me know. I'll figure out something. And until then, peace.